Hello and welcome. The topic of the session is creating and growing new venture in the post-COVID scenario. We will briefly discuss on the following topics: generating business ideas, winning features of business model, circle of competency and effectuation in selecting business model. Value proposition will always remain central to our discussion as long as we talk about entrepreneurship. We will be discussing about the lean process of product development, lean manufacturing and lean startup. And we will also talk about validated learning, that is part of lean startup. At the end, we will be discussing about some opportunities in the post-COVID scenario. At the beginning, I will be kind of going very slow, walking, then perhaps I will be jogging, at the end perhaps I will be sprinting. Now, how to generate business idea? It is not simply just complete your business plan and determine what product to manufacture, etc. It is about understanding customers' need, what customer will buy, rather than what cutting edge technology that you can bring in, and you feel that you have put so much of effort and so much of time. There is no reason why you will not be successful. The question is what the customers will buy, what the customer will pay for. It should be profitable price, otherwise there is no business. So, you have to understand what pain you are going to solve, how your business will progress, how you will put infrastructure in place, and then you create customer. There are satisfying growing number of customers. If you cannot answer all of these questions, there is no business model. So, to identify business, you have to really start asking those questions, and gradually the answer will help you to come up with a business model. There is a saying, everybody knows, necessity is the mother of all inventions. But then all inventions may not be translated into innovations. All innovation may not get translated into a successful business. So, one may perpetually think, ruminate what business to start. He will flip from one idea to another, but then he will not go anywhere. One can peep inside a world class research laboratories to find new ideas, what is happening. Maybe this will be futile, because it is not the idea from where you should start, it is the customer's pain from where you should start. So, you have to really engage with customers to understand what is bogging them. Only then you get some kind of definition about a problem and try to evolve a solution. And if the solution seems to be better compared to which are existing in terms of efficacy, in terms of price or costing, and then in terms of any other value proposition, obviously there is a business, otherwise there is not. But the topic is about idea generation. Definitely you should start from pain point and then gradually move backward and then finally come up with the idea. But then how to identify the pain? You have to really go out. This is what majority of the successful entrepreneurs will tell you, that you cannot ideate sitting in the comfort of your drawing room or in an air conditioned room, wherever that is. You need to go out, soil your hand, work with people, and while working you will come to know what is paining, not just paining others, but paining you as well. You have to empathize, otherwise looking at somebody suffering or crying may not give you idea, you may not be able to define the problem. You need to define the problem well, you need to understand the depth of the pain, the seriousness of the pain, etc. See, suppose your wife or your mother is cooking every day. Once in a while you can enter into the kitchen. Suppose you enter into the kitchen once and you try to stir the vegetables, tilt the vegetables, turn the vegetables, but you find that it is getting spilled, it is just jumping out. You might think that this is nonsense, I am not habituated. So, you come out of the kitchen, nothing happens. On the contrary, you just think, what is this problem? my mother is doing every day and she is kind of almost capable, but maybe she is also suffering from the same pain. Maybe sometimes vegetables are getting spilled. So, what can be done? You start thinking. Then you think that okay, this edge can be bent inward, nothing will spill perhaps. So, eureka, you have a solution, you have a new product idea. It should happen like that, meaning that you have to really work everything wherever you would like to, you find an opportunity to work. Just get involved, watch people, at the same time you have to really engage in multiple activities. Something or the other is going to give you some kind of idea about a pain and then eventually a product. In the process, you will suffer the pain, you will empathize, and you will empathize with the same pain that is inflicting others. And the success of developing a product depends on clearly defining the pain. If the definition of the pain itself is kind of superfluous, you will not be able to develop a product. So, empathizing will help you to define the problem holistically, completely, and it will help you to define the pain, and then you perhaps will come up with some solution. It is not always necessary, but then that is the start of the journey. Unless you have feel the pain, there is no journey at all, you are still not started. Many entrepreneurs actually build their business based on their own suffering. Some examples: Phanindra Sama, he was working with Infosys at Bangalore. During Pongal, he wanted to go to Hyderabad, his native place, but then he went to bus stand to realize that all buses are booked. Booked means there is no seat for him, for many people. He finds many people standing, but buses are all filled and there is no way he can go. So, he was frustrated. He started cursing everybody, government, then system, what not. But he realized that this cursing or criticizing is not going to take me anywhere. Next day I will come, I will also face the same pain, and he found that many people have the same pain. So, he thought, can there be a solution? Can I come up with something that will ensure that whenever I come to the bus stand, I have a seat reserved for me. So, I will not be disturbed, I will not be my journey will not be disrupted. So, he sat with some more friends said, yes, this is a good idea, let us have a portal where people actually can see where the seats are available and they can book if seats are available. And they had a business model, and eventually they started Red Bus. Finally, they sold it for millions of dollars. So, if he would not have felt the pain, number one, number two, if the question never arose to him whether there can be a solution for this problem, perhaps he would be working in Infosys with maybe something like 1 lakh rupees a month salary, and this Red Bus, which is giving so much of benefit to so many people, would not exist today. So, that is how ideas to be generated. You have to suffer pain by yourself, only then you will come up with eureka moment, and there will be new product, new services that will do so much good to the society. There is another story I will discuss moving forward, but let me just mention. There is another person called Achal Bakeri, is the founder of Symphony. You are already familiar with the product, they sell air cooler. He did his MBA in US and he came back. He was in Gujarat during scorching summer, and all that he had is a air cooler, and the air cooler was giving so much noise, and the whole thing was so nasty that he thought it is better to put it off rather than using it. Then he inquired whether there is a better product in the market or not. He found there is no better product, that was the best product available. So, he thought, this is nonsense, there should be a better product, this is such a simple product, reducing noise, reducing water seeping through the filter is anybody's work. Why nobody thought about it? I can definitely think about it. So, he started making a prototype, and eventually he he started this company called Symphony, and within a very short time, he started in 1988. In 2002 or so, the company was valued 4,500 crore rupees. But then, of course, later a story later. So, like Phanindra Sama, Achar also suffered, and from his own suffering came a solution. So, that is how ideas to be generated. So, let us paraphrase this adage, long term adage: necessity is the mother of all business model innovations, because if you can identify a need, a burning need, a compelling need for which people are crying, that is the mother of new business venture creation. Now, we talk about business model innovation. Can we put it grammatically as to what ways business model can be innovated? Here is something I copied from BCG research. You can create new value proposition, you can create new operating model, you can create new business system architecture. Value proposition, you can, there may be various ways of providing value proposition, superior value proposition. Like the first one, General Electric did software as a service. For the first time they started, now of course, it has become the order of the day. You can think of renting utensils, renting garments maybe. There are companies actually who rent wedding dresses. So, it is product as a service. You do not sell the products, you rent it. So, it becomes product as a service. Then product as an experience. I have been overemphasizing on this point. Product as an experience, how do you think about it and how to give that? First of all, what is that new experience? Somebody gets a new experience, what exactly is that? Like say iPod, there are many pad available in the marketplace, but iPad is something different. Why it is different? That you can have a look at it, its design, its operation, the slickness, everything together gives a new experience to a person who owns it. It looks so kind of aesthetically attractive. Let me give a simpler example to drive home the point of experience. It is very important. See, candle is kind of a non-existent in today's society, because we have so much of electricity around. Who needs candle anymore? So, if you are trying to sell candle in the marketplace, people will say you must be crazy, you are trying to sell candle. It is kind of an obsolete product, but look on my right. I took this snapshot yesterday from Amazon. A candle is being sold at 1,12,529 rupees after 20% discount. So, original price was 1,40,000. 1,40,000 rupees for a candle, not big, it is half a kilogram of candle, package of 6 of course, but then who would on earth pay for this, and why somebody pay 1,12,000 for a candle like this? A story is like this. A story is about experience. This candle has aroma inside. Now, after a days of hard work, you come home and then you feel so tired, and you sit at the corner of the drawing room. You lit a candle of this kind, and there will be, the room will be filled with aroma of your choice. You play some soft music, and within no time you get invigorated and recharged for the night and for the next day perhaps. So, people pay for, this is a new experience, and people pay for this kind of experience. So, it is not very difficult, but then people who invented this whole idea, they are making money, minting money, because they are giving new experience to people. There are many examples how people are trying to give new experience with their product. You have to really invent that. You can put trust, like Tata, anything made by Tata is trustable, because most of the people think that normally Tata will not compromise on quality. Similarly, in pricing you can do like just like say Spotify, they give music free for a while or for listening. Then if you want to download, you have to pay. So, you attract people to come to your site with free, and then you ask for premium for more services. Likewise, let us not waste a lot of time. My objective is just to drive home the points, not really elaborate on the points, then it is going to take days together. So, let me just touch upon the primary philosophies of all these points that are there to be discussed. Most importantly, create exceptional utility. Suppose you are developing a product, whatever the product may be. Now, maybe there is a competing product. Suppose in your product people find more utility, more features, but then unnecessarily do not overload with features, and people may not use 50% of the features. That is a wastage. Why wastage? Because you spend money to build those features, and now you find that users are not interested in, maybe 90% of the users are not interested. Then why unnecessarily you incur extra cost to add those features in the product? Instead, try to follow the lean process, give minimum features or maximum features which customer wants the maximum, meaning customer will exploit the maximum. Do not go beyond that. But most technocrats, like engineers, they think, if I know the technology, if I can produce the cutting edge product, I have a winning business proposition. That is a mistake that majority of the present generation entrepreneurs make, because they are technocrats, because they are fresh from engineering college. They think, who knows better than me? Firstly, I myself am a customer. Second, I know the technology. My dad does not know the technology, because he is from the previous generation. So, I know what customers need. So, I am going to make it and customers are going to buy. This never happens. Majority people make this mistake. I will give an example moving forward. So, what you need to ensure is product market fit, meaning whatever the market is demanding, if you can give that, or if you can deliver more than that, over deliver, you have a perfect product market fit, you have a winning business proposition. Otherwise, it is going to be difficult, and you give new experience in your product and services, etc. Product market fit is most important, that as per data that are available, like say 78% of the startups which were turned down by investors, they did not have a perfect product market fit, or they were trying to target in a very niche area, meaning the market size was not big enough. So, there will be no growth potential, or scalability is limited, etc. So, product market fit and sufficient market size are two very important parameters for even thinking which business to start. There was a question whether experience matters. I just wanted to give that data right here. Among the funded startup, successful startups which are successful in raising money, 82% of the founders had more than 5 years of experience. So, that clearly shows that experience does matter, but does not mean that if you do not have experience and you have a wonderful product idea, you should not start. It is not like that. It depends on the context. So, do not be disheartened. If you have a wonderful idea, you can go ahead right away. As I said, scalability is very important, because most investors look for a very clearly defined addressable market. Addressable market is a small market segment, not the whole market, the segment that you are targeting, meaning the market which are your customer, right customer who are going to buy, and whether you have a perfect product market fit, only then investors will be investing. Now, what if we have to tabulate at one place as to what are the winning features of business model? What features will ensure that my business model is going to be successful? One is founders. If the founders have the capability to think, to execute and acquire customers, That is the best part. So, what are founders' capabilities? They must have complementary skills. Suppose you are starting a software company and you 3 people are working in a software company, you 3 make a team, but then nobody knows marketing, nobody knows finance. So, that is not a wonderful team, even though you have synergies, everybody is kind of similar and you have the same challenges, same aspirations, but then it does not actually make a wonderful team. That is not what a founding team should look like. It should be based on complementary skills. So, unless there is someone to sell, you can make many things. Unless you are capable of selling, there is no business. So, somebody should be able to sell. All these together are their capabilities. So, they must have a whole bundle of capabilities to really run the business successfully. But then it is not necessary that they must have everything. You are going to hire some new recruits at the beginning, and some of them will behave almost like founders, and they can also complement some of the founders' lack of skills. So, like suppose you do not have a man of particular technology knowledge, you can always hire and empower that person to think and build whatever you would like to build. Then the business model. Business model subsumes everything about a business. In fact, it also subsumes your founders as well. But then the key part of business model is how are you going to make money, meaning what is your revenue stream, revenue model, how you are going to earn money and at what rate are you going to make profit, what is your cost structure, whom are you selling, how you are selling, everything together is the business model. I will just briefly show you the business model canvas to give a holistic picture about business model. So, that is not in the scope of this discussion, but I have some slides just to demonstrate. I will flip the pages. The context, one of the most important part is the context. When are you starting the business? The time, the technology paradigm, the trend, what you plan to develop and adopt. The time at present is a wonderful example. Suppose you want to manufacture face mask. Now, if you start after 2 months, when COVID is not likely to remain so aggressive, meaning it is going to reduce and people may not be interested to wear a mask, imagine what is the prospect of your success. And visualize that somebody started similar kind of a company 3 months back, he must have made crores by now. So, the timing and the context is so very important. If somebody started 5 years back to manufacture face mask, perhaps the market was so small, some people in the hospital only will be using those. So, market was small, it was not scalable, but now look at it, it is highly scalable and there is huge demand, but then the laggard who comes late will not be the winning, will not start the winning business, they will not be successful. But those who started at the beginning, they are already successful. So, they do not care whether there is demand in the future, because they can switch to another business. The market, the customers, the competition and the growth potential. It is the 3 together, the growth potential, the competition and say the size of the market. This is called market structure, and market structure is very important for anybody to enter into the marketplace. I will discuss market structure moving forward. Yeah, right here. See, if you talk about market, then know that there are many forces in the market. Some of them may facilitate your business, some of them actually sabotage or disrupt your plan. So, you need to understand what are the forces which are acting in the marketplace, and that can actually make or break your business plan. So, Porter came up with a very formal definition of the market forces. He propounded 5 forces. So, you need to know who are your suppliers, whether there are many suppliers or there are limited number of suppliers. At some point of time, you are in a place where they are commanding the price, it is called seller's market. You are in a seller's market, that means sellers are commanding the price. Today they say that price is 500 rupees a kilo. So, you buy, you make some profit. Next day the telephone, they say that price has gone up because we have a problem. So, now it is 550. Now, if you do not have many suppliers, you are in a soup. So, you need to understand all the market forces, bargaining power of buyers, whether the new entrant can enter into the marketplace very easily, or there is some entry barrier. What is the threat of substitute, meaning whatever you are producing, whether there is another product that can substitute my product, like say some sanitizer may be substituted with another sanitizer perhaps, or people will wear gloves. So, there may be this kind of forces. Other than that, there are players in the marketplace, they are your rivals. So, can you fight with them? This competitive rivalry with the existing players have to be understood absolutely thoroughly, otherwise the moment you enter, they will be antagonistic at your business, towards your business, and they may collude among themselves and reduce the price, sabotage in any way possible. They will telephone your suppliers to tell them that if you are supplying to this guy, then we will not buy from you, you are gone. So, you have to understand the competitive rivalry of the marketplace. Now, this existing players of the marketplace, or this competitive rivalry, is to be understood from market structure point of view. What is it? Market may be various types. It may be monopolistic, it may be oligopolistic, it may be perfect competition. Monopolistic means you are the only player and they are all buyers. So, you have command or control over customer, you have control over pricing. So, today you see that I want to sell at say 5 rupees a kilo, tomorrow it is 550, it becomes 550, people have nothing else, nowhere else to go. So, they will buy, but then you should not be unethical at any point of time. Whatever that is, the discussion is about market structure. So, if it is monopolistic market, you can rest assured that you are going to make profit moving forward and for a sustainably long time, as long as you can prevent competition from coming in. Oligopolistic on the other hand is limited number of players, not really many players, but some limited number of players who are catering to the marketplace. But normally when there are limited number of players, it is not so attractive, neither it is so disruptive. They normally collude among themselves, they make some kind of a grouping, and then they decide about the price. So, they control price, they exploit customers because they are in a group. If they decide that we will increase the price, they will increase. Customers, everybody will increase simultaneously. So, customers have no option. So, they have complete control over the customers, and everybody may have some kind of product differentiation. Perfect competition on the other hand is a market situation where there are many suppliers, meaning many producers or sellers, and there are many buyers as well, with limited product differentiation, like say soap, like say toothpaste. There are many sellers and there are many buyers. So, they survive based on little bit of differentiation. Someone say my toothpaste has salt, every toothpaste perhaps has salt. Another will say it has clove or something. So, it will remove say tooth decay or something. So, they come up with some story or the other and survive. Here new entrant will not have much advantage. So, people should not think of entering there unless the market is growing rapidly. If the market is growing rapidly, then you will always have some space for yourself. Let us move forward. Again, coming back to the winning features, we talked about the founders, the business model, the context, etc. But which one is most important out of all of that? Bill Gross is a very successful entrepreneur. He has done a research on the same topic, and let us see what he found out. It is very important. He started more than 100 companies. Many of them have become unicorn, meaning they are valued more than $1 billion. Now, when somebody has started billion-dollar companies, many billion-dollar companies on one side, and the same person, when he failed many times, he is the holder of all the knowledge about entrepreneurship, because he knows why he failed, he knows how to become successful. But then he did not depend on his own experience alone. He took 100 of his own companies and 100 other successful companies to find out how companies became successful. And then eventually he came up with this finding: the timing or the context has the maximum weightage for defining success, 42% weightage for defining success. The team is the second largest contributor to success, that is 32% weightage. Idea, which is no less important than anything, but the idea's weightage is only 28%. Then business model, meaning who are your customers, how you are going to supply to them, what you are going to sell, etc. But then more importantly, what is your revenue model. Many people refer to business model as revenue model. They are not wrong, because ultimately it will boil down to how you are going to make money. Then the funding. Suppose you have everything in place, the timing, the team, the execution, the idea, etc. Maybe another team also have a similar kind of a context and parameters, but then you have access to money, they do not have access to money. So, you will be moving faster compared to the other team. So, success for you will be easier compared to the other team. So, funding also defines success rate. Suppose you have everything in place, now you have all the elements of success. Now, still you may not be successful unless you have some of these features. Entry barrier, it can be explained in two contexts, or it may have two connotations. One is you want to enter into a marketplace and you have a barrier before you. Two, whether you can create entry barrier against the competitors around your business. You are in a marketplace, you do not want other people to enter. Can you create a barrier against their entry, so that you can enjoy the profit that you have been enjoying, so that they cannot snatch your customer away? That is what is entry barrier. Scalability, I have already explained that you have a business, okay, you have some 1 million customer. Now, your locality is completely captured, your addressable market is done. You want to increase the addressable market, you want to enlarge the marketplace. Is it possible, or is it that it is already saturated and there is nowhere else to go? There is no opportunity for creating new customers. Let me give a small example. One of my students at IIT Kharagpur started a business of selling T-shirt online, and his core competency or his unique selling proposition was that he was inviting design from people. Whosoever can design a T-shirt, he will be printing it and the other people will be buying, or you can order a particular design. You send the design and then he prints. He was doing wonderful business for 2 years. He was making profit every year, every month he was making profit. But then after 2 years, he actually diversified into something else. He thought this is not the right business for me. He is doing wonderful now. Why he changed the business? Because he found that every month I am making the same money, same profit, I cannot scale, because he was not able to reach out to a larger audience, and he realized that it is very difficult to reach out to a larger audience. There are a small group of people who are excited about this new design and they feel excited, they are kind of innovator kind of customer, I will explain later. So, after you acquire them, you cannot actually acquire more customer, other people are not interested in this fancy products. So, that is what is scalability. Attractive market structure I have already explained. If it is kind of monopolistic market, or say at the least oligopolistic market, even if it is perfect competition, if it is growing rapidly, then it is okay. Otherwise, perhaps it may not be an attractive market structure. Growth potential is very important. Repeatability, let me explain little bit. Suppose a customer comes to you, buy the product, he is so happy, he tells everybody that look, I bought this product, you also go and buy. So, many people come and buy your product, but then once they buy the product, then they are happy, they are satisfied, they do not need this product anymore. So, they do not come back to you again and again, because they do not need that again. So, that is not a good business model. Customers need to come back again and again, otherwise what is the point of satisfying them, and what you are going to, how you are going to sell more and make more profit. One of our professors, he invented a wonderful contraceptive for men. Just give one injection to a man, he will remain sterile for 12 years. It was highly groundbreaking technology, it was very well appreciated. We thought he is going to get a Nobel Prize for that, and we tried to commercialize that technology. No company in the world, particularly pharmaceutical companies, they came here, but then no company in the world was willing to manufacture this. Why? Because they said one guy become sterile for 12 years. So, I sell one injection to every customers, and then for 12 years I sit back idle. How am I going to make money? So, that is what is repeatability. You need to ensure that customers come back repeatably. Even for capital goods like refrigerator, like many other home appliances, nowadays smart companies are giving you warranty for 5 years, but they make sure that after 5 years this becomes non-functional. Something crazy, something not a very good idea, but then they are promising something, they are keeping the promise. 5 years warranty, trouble free service, after 5 years you come back to me again, buy a new one. That is the model. Then brand is very important. Unless you can create some brand is a connection between your product and the customer, your company and the customer. Brand holds value proposition. It may be, sometimes it may be emotional, but still customers have to be connected with your product, with your trademark emotionally. Only then they will come back again and again, they will trust you, and whenever they will find a new product with that trademark, they will think this must be a new good product. So, they will immediately buy. Last one is pricing power, last but one, pricing power is very important. Let me tell you what is pricing power. Suppose you have a product, now suppose input cost goes up. So, you have to really increase the price. Now, suppose you increase the price by 5%, then you see that customers are not coming. So, you do not have any pricing power. Pricing power is the power of increasing the price of your product without the risk of losing the customers, without risk of losing any customers for that matter. That is what is pricing power. So, pricing power is connected with again brand loyalty, monopoly status, etcetera, many things. Suppose you have a wonderful brand loyal followers. So, even if you increase the price, perhaps they will not mind and they will buy that at higher price. They will rather think that perhaps this product has been improved, that is why price has gone up. So, they will buy perhaps even with more conviction. Last is new experience, we already explained, and experience nowadays is mattering a lot. You may have the same product, but if you can give little bit of new excitement to the customers, they are going to talk to other people will come and buy, they will talk to other people, your customer acquisition cost will be very low. That is very important that you try to focus on giving experience. Now, how to create an entry barrier? See, we talked about entry barrier, and you start a business, people will be watching you. There are many businessmen with lot of money in their possession. They are looking for new business model that can create value for them, multiply their money. They watch every new entrant in every new marketplace. So, the moment you start doing business, they will look at you, they will see that your product is selling. So, immediately they will try to make a me too product. They will hire some engineer, and then they will ask them to build the same product, maybe at a cheaper rate or something, and they have more money. So, initially they will sell at a lower price compared to yours, and your business will be lost. That is why you will always try to target to create entry barriers, so that if anybody wants to enter, he will find it arduous. So, he will not be able to enter so easily. By the time he will come up with some kind of a edge over you, you will go one step ahead. So, he or she will remain a poor follower rather than preempting you. So, you should preempt your competition. If you can preempt, you have entry barrier. It is not so easy to create such a barrier that nobody will ever be able to break, but if you are always ahead of market, always ahead of competition, you already have some kind of a barrier. How you can create entry barrier? With technology that other people will take ages to develop, and if you have a patent, even if they develop, they cannot replicate, because you already have a patent. Then intangible asset may be either patent or maybe copyright, trademark, that is associated with brand loyalty. This is very important. If you whatever you sell, if you have a wonderful story that will resonate with your customers, the customer will think that wow, this is good. So, we should buy that, and then you create some kind of a barrier, meaning that other products will not be bought by this customer, they will always buy your product. When I talk about brand and creating brand, let me just give you a small story. I think I wanted to tell the story later. Let me just tell you. Say I am giving an example. Huggies, there is a company who sells Huggies brand of baby diaper, or maybe other products for women, sanitary napkin. So, when they wanted to enter into Canadian market, where Pamper had 100% market share in hospitals. If any company has majority market share in a marketplace, it is very difficult to knock them out and snatch market share from them, very difficult. Normally, people do not even think of trying, but then Huggies did. How did they do it? That is the story, and that will clearly tell you how to build a brand and how to create loyal followers. Huggies lay their hands on a research article, where it was told, it was proven that when you hug your baby, you create some kind of a connectivity with the baby, and then that builds into a strong relationship. Number one. Number two, when mother hugs the newborn, the vitals of the newborn, the critical vitals of the newborn improves so much that the newborn creates immunity against many infections, and the relation between the mother and the baby becomes a lifelong relationship because of these hugs. So, they thought, okay, this is a wonderful items, let us connect these hugs with our product, so that people will associate our product with these advantages, even though our product may not give the advantage. So, they gave a publicity that every mother should hug their baby as long as possible, as much as possible. They even told the hospital that if there is a baby whose mother is not there at the moment, there should be a professional hugger who will come and hug the baby. The baby will feel that I am protected. Through the hug, the baby will feel I am protected. And then they educated all the mothers that you must hug the baby for the baby's immunity and for your relation with the babies. At the end, they wrote Huggies. So, when mothers read this advertisement, they thought it is not an advertisement, it is an education. And when they read Huggies at the bottom, they thought, when I go to hospital for delivery, I am going to carry with me enough number of Huggies. So, in the process, through this story, Huggies created loyal follower. They did not have to really spend a lot of money for advertisement. Within very short time, they captured about 35% of the market share through this. Even though their product is no superior, it is equivalent to Pampers. So, you can really connect with customer emotionally through stories. Storytelling is one of the greatest weapon in the armory of entrepreneurs to acquire customers. You can tell a story to your employees to make them devoted. Like during Corona, suppose you are manufacturing mask, you tell them that you are manufacturing superior masks, make sure there is no fault, because we are helping the present civilization to remain whatever, meaning giving so much of value, we can protect people. So, that they feel that there is a huge social cause that we are actually manifesting. So, employees will remain devoted. You can tell the same story or different story to all other stakeholders, so that they feel that you are doing something very, very novel, and everybody remains highly feel allegiance to the company. So, these are some of the features to create entry barrier. I will not devote so much time on that. Value proposition and product market fit, all through, as I said, value proposition will always feature throughout the discussion. Now, product market fit. What is product market fit? Even though I discussed many a times. See, customers want you to do some jobs for them, in exchange for which they will give you money. So, you are doing some jobs for the customers. What kind of jobs? To alleviate some pains, because customers have pain. So, you try to solve customer pains. Now, you solve completely, but then other people are also solving customer pain completely. So, what is the difference? Why customer should come to you? So, you try to give them something beyond alleviation of the pain. For example, suppose what happened? For example, suppose okay, this actually did not show the animation which I wanted to show. So, what you want to do? You want to perfectly match customers' requirement and give some additional benefits, so that you hit the bullseye, and there is people are coming into your marketing funnel, and then gradually you are enticing them to move forward, and they transform into customers. They buy your product, they tell the story to others, and then more and more people come into your funnel, enter through the funnel, become customers, and you have a wonderful business proposition. Now, for example, what is this value proposition, and how you can understand this additional features that become superior value proposition. Suppose you are selling antacid. People have acidity, and there are so many antacid in the marketplace. You also bring in some antacid. Perhaps efficacy wise, it may be slightly better. Maybe it will last for 3 hours. Other tablets are running for maybe say 2.5 hours or something, but still people may not be so much interested. Suppose you package some kind of a multivitamin or something in that, maybe at nano level, but still you can always say that there is some multivitamin and this will help you this way. That is the bonus that you give, and people will be more than interested, and they will not buy anything else, but they will buy this, even if the price wise it is slightly pricier. So, these are all ways that you can add more value to that. Ironically, most of the technocrats, as I said earlier also, they think that if I have a cutting edge technology and I am putting in so many months of time or years of time to create something groundbreaking, there is no reason why customers will, there is no reason why I will not be successful. They do not ask whether customers are going to buy or not going to buy. They fail to ask this question, and if you fail to ask this question, you come up with something and go to the market to realize that nobody wants to buy your product. 42% of the companies, after funding and all that, fail because of the reason that they manufacture something that nobody wants to buy. There are many examples, no time to really explain those examples. Say, then what features can be added to give value proposition. It can be functional features, it can be emotional features, like say aesthetics, meaning some kind of emotional you feel so proud of it, you want to brag about this product, that I have this product, like say iPhone. There is a kind of a feeling that that possessing iPhone gives you some kind of premium. Now, it can be social, it can be economical or financial rewards, meaning you give discount or something, or maybe you give peace of mind, meaning that this product will never give trouble to you. So, once you bought this, there is no service requirement, or if there is a requirement, my man will be at the beck and call and there is no problem. But then you should understand that value lies in the eyes of the beholder, meaning everybody has pair of eyes, and value depends on how they view your product or services as regards your product, meaning the features. So, if they think that value is good, otherwise there is no value. In this connection, I want to just make some digression. Human beings, if you think very deeply, they seemingly appear to be robots. You can put some hormone in a man to convert into a woman to a man. Perhaps it is kind of exaggeration, or this may not be the right platform to talk about it, but what I am trying to drive home is that with some kind of chemical you can change the mood of a person. Just decrease the sodium content in my blood, I will start talking something nonsense, I will forget who I am, who are people around me. So, that is almost like a machine that you press a button, the person starts behaving very differently. Why this story is like this? Marketers actually play with the emotion of people, like Huggies, the example that I gave. You tell a story and people start following you. Somebody else does not have the story, they will start hating them, because they will not be able to connect with them. If not hating, at least they will not look at that product. So, humans' emotions can actually be modified through storytelling. You do not have to really put an injection to make people's emotion positive towards your product. Tell the right story. So, design and invent a story that resonates with the buyer's mindset. Like Huggies, it is a wonderful kind of a story that connects with the people who care for the product. So, if you can really come up with this kind of a story, for example, Airbnb, they say sense of belongingness is the slogan that Airbnb tells. You belong everywhere, that is the story. Suppose from India you go to Italy and then you enter into some Airbnb property, you will immediately feel as if this is your property, the people around you are your relatives or something, they are so concerned about your food, about your health, about your overall well-being. So, you will feel that these are kind of my place. When you will be living that and coming home, you will feel that was such a wonderful experience, when I will go again. So, that is what is belonging. You belong everywhere, whether you go to Italy, Africa, Russia or anywhere, if you are with Airbnb, you belong there. So, that is another storytelling, and people actually buy stories. So, whatever you have through storytelling, you can actually have loyal follower. So, it is not just cutting edge technology, cutting edge product, team, whatever you have, finally, the decision makers, when they make a decision as to what to buy, when to buy, emotion may actually tilt the balance towards certain products and not certain other products, even though rational thinking may actually drive the decision other way around. We never know. So, you need to create a perfect buyer's persona. Only then you can come up with a story. What the buyer actually value? A mother values her baby the most in the world. Obviously, there is no doubt about that. So, you can Huggies created a perfect buyer's persona in the form of this story. So, you understand what is the aspiration of the buyer, what is the liking, disliking of the buyer, what they want to achieve, whatever through the product. Every product will give them something. So, try to understand what they look forward to. Only that will help you to come up with a perfect story, and then you can connect with them emotionally, and finally, you have the winning proposition. So, that itself is a solution. I will not dwell much on that. Do not stick to same set of customers for validation at the early stage. Validation comes forward, because suppose you talk to some customer, he is an innovator kind of customer, he will say this is wonderful, I want more and more, but then the late majority or say early majority also may not bother about that product. So, you have to really approach to multiple number of customers to get an average feeling. From there, you should use data analysis to understand what is the percentage of people they are liking the product, and what should be my decision on that. So, remember in the previous lecture I said what Maxwell said, fail fast, fail early, fail forward, meaning that suppose you have an idea and you are moving forward with the idea to translate into a prototype. Now, you translate into a prototype, finished product, blah blah, but then when you go to market you realize customers do not like it. Instead of doing that, try to fail fast, meaning that you bring the customers at the idea stage itself. Suppose you tell the customer, do you like it? Customers will say, I like it, but I like those features. If those were there with the product, perhaps would be better. So, you immediately change the idea. So, you failed once already, but before making any investment. Now, with this additional knowledge that you got from the customer, you try to build a prototype, very simple prototype with some features, key features that differentiate your product. Again you go to the customer, you show it to them, they will say yes, these are good, but then I do not like that, and perhaps another feature of this would be better. So, come back again. So, you failed again. So, come back, add features, reduce features, go again. So, in the process, when you are completely done with the product, you know that customers are liking, because customers themselves were on board and they told you to build this. It is almost like they is customizing a product to their requirement. So, that is why fail fast, fail early, but fail forward, move forward, do not fail for good. That is what actually is the ethos of lean product development. But before going there, here is a canvas called value proposition canvas. It was propounded by Alexander Osterwalder, but then try to understand this whole value proposition from this canvas perspective. You will not miss out anything, and if possible you can make this kind of a canvas and put it somewhere, so that you have an eye for everything. Like say customer wants job to be done, they have pains, they want some gain. Can you match that? If you can, then you have a product market fit. Then there is no reason why customers will not buy when you are ready with the product. Then what are the means, if you define that these are the gain creators or painkillers, then what are the features of that actually kills the pain, alleviate the pain and create gains? These are all these, like quality of a product, efficacy means how efficiently it is solving the pain, usefulness, esteem, ease of installation, and whole lot of things. You can pause the video and see that. Circle of competency is something very important for starting, for even trying to decide on an idea as to what business you should take up, what should be your business model. Circle of competence is a kind of a phrase that was propounded by Charlie Munger. He is the best friend of Warren Buffett, the greatest investor, and when Charlie Munger says something, it is highly valuable. Do not take it at face value. Let us move forward and understand what is circle of competence and how it actually helps us to narrow down the domain where we have a prospect of becoming successful. The world is a knowledge domain. There are many things to know, but we do not know many things. We do not even know what is there to know. Suppose somebody tells you, do you know what is plasma? You might say that I never heard about it, so I never bothered about it. So, there are things that we do not even know that there are things. That is a broader domain. There are a smaller domain. We know that we do not know something. Suppose somebody asks me, do you know quantum computing? I would say that yeah, I heard about it, but then I am not an expert in that. I do not know. It is a supercomputer, but only this much I know. So, I know that I do not know some of the things. But then there is even a smaller domain when I think that I know, but I actually do not know many of the things. But there are very small domain where I know for sure that I know it and I actually know it. And if I do something in that circle, in that knowledge domain, chances of success is greater compared to if I do it elsewhere. So, that is why expert entrepreneurs try to focus on their circle of competence when they want to start something. If they try to do too many things, then chances of success is very low. But then for the diameter of this circle for individuals are different for different individuals. So, it is not same for everybody, because people are born with different amount of talent. Look at what Watson has said. Watson was the founder of IBM. He said, I am not a genius, but I have some smart spot. I focus only on those spot and try to flourish on that. I focus all my energy on that area, and then that gives me success. And once you are kind of a matured in that domain, you make money and you are expert in that. So, you have nothing to bother about, and you actually can expand, diversify your domain. Now, there are some examples. I am giving you one example. General Electric, they were a $12 billion company, then they diversified into very related means circle of competency area, and then they became a $400 billion company from 1981 to 2001. But then they thought, we are such a big company, let us diversify in areas wherever possible, and then eventually they failed, because they diversified into areas that is not in their circle of competency. So, eventually their value came down to $76 billion. Such a wonderful example. Achal Bakheri, he is, I told you his story, and I told you after this 4,500 crore rupees story. But then when he became 4,500 crore company, he started diversifying into many things. He thought, I have synergy, I have the distribution network, the service engineers. So, let me diversify into many things. In 2002, his company valuation was something like 28 crore or something, and it went down to almost 0. The company was at the verge of death. But then he realized the mistake, that I have diversified into too many areas which is not in my circle of competency. So, eventually he discarded almost all the products. He focused only on air cooler and geyser, and today his company is valued 1 lakh crore rupees. So, the whole story from nil to 4,500 crore rupees to 0, now 1 lakh crore rupees. That should tell you what is the importance of circle of competency. Another broader area about circle of competency is effectuation. Circle of competency is the expertise, whereas effectuation is slightly broader. If you are thinking of selecting a business idea, you should think who you are. What do you know means what is your circle of competency. Who are the people that you know who can help you hold your hand for doing something when you are about to fall. Then what is the resources under your control? Are you a millionaire or you have no money in the bank? If you have no money in the bank, you cannot afford a lot of loss. So, you do not get into businesses which is going to inflict huge amount of loss to you. So, remain is restricted within a domain that you can tolerate the amount of loss, affordable extent of loss. then these people are normally not surprised with positive negative surprises, because they are ready. Whenever there will be some situation, they can always take care. They are the pilot in the vehicle where they are traveling. So, they decide their journey, they create their own future. They believe that future is neither projected or predicted, future actually is made. I want to go this side, so I will be steering the wheel towards that side and I create the future. But then there is no formula like physics in entrepreneurship. So, do not go by all these sermons completely. There are contradicting statements by famous people. Whom to follow is up to you. Like, look at Salon Segal, he said, start small, leave your comfort zone, meaning leave your circle of competency, challenge the status quo and try new things. Forget, this is just a word of caution. Now, the world is changing so fast. It is changing so fast that whatever change you saw in 20th century, that change is greater than the sum total of change that happened before 20th century. And if you extrapolate that, whatever change that is happening in 21st century, the sum total of that is greater than the sum total that happened in 20th centuries and before 20th century. So, that means that whatever you see today, you may not see at the turn of the century. Like my grandfather did not see a telephone. If I would have told him that I can talk to somebody 3 houses beyond our house, he would have laughed at me, he would have thought I must have gone mad or something. Now, we can even communicate at Mars also. So, things are going to change, the car, the telephone, the way you entertain, the way you live, everything is going to change. Therefore, if you are thinking of designing a product, and if you design the product for years together, maybe 5 years, you try to develop a product. After 5 years, when you will go to market, you will see that this product became obsolete long back. There is another product that is far ahead of your product. That is why there is something called lean startup. Lean startup tells you that reduce your cost, reduce any wastage that you can reduce. If there are 10 features and customers are not bothered about one particular feature, eliminate that, so that you can reduce the cost, create more value for the customers. That is what is lean product development. You combine that with agile process. Agile came from software development. Agile says that you onboard the customer, develop a minimum viable product, get it validated by customer, come back again, do whatever customers recommend. So, it is kind of a validated learning, build something, get customer feedback. So, become knowledgeable, again redesign, again go back. So, this is a circle that you complete as long as the customers are not completely happy. It is called build, measure, learn, feedback loop. Build, measure, and then through the data you learn, and then again you rebuild. So, product development life cycle can be reduced in the process. At every stage you should be following this process. I will move faster. Traditional product development process is called waterfall method. There are many other methods, but this is a linear process. You build everything up to the finished product, then go to market to realize whether market is liking it or not liking it. Alternately, you can actually do it in a circular manner, and every stage you validate and move forward with better knowledge, better matured development, matured prototype. Eventually, you become successful. That is what is lean startup. There are many more, and due to shortage of time, I have to just flip the slides. I will take maybe 5 more minutes. Lean and agile together actually is lean startup. Read that if you want to learn more about it. Eric Ries is the person who wrote the book Lean Startup, but then he is not the first person to really evolve the idea. It was there for centuries, maybe more than a century, it was there. But then Eric actually put everything in a systematic way, and that is why many companies, many startups are now becoming aware about it. So, we should, any startup, before building the product, you should read about lean startup from Eric Ries. It is a must read for everybody to understand what he means and how you are going to ensure that you do not fail at least till you go to market. Beyond that, of course, there is a need for many other things. So, read about lean startup. This is a wonderful example. I do not have time. Iridium is a company who built a company with 66 satellite. They wanted to give communication to anybody anywhere in the world. $6 billion is 42,000 crore rupees. But when they went to the market after launching all the satellite, they realized that customers do not like this product, because it was so costly, the product was so bulky that this product is not being not attracting to anybody. So, eventually they had to shelve the company, and they sold the company for $35 million, 66 billion and 35 million. It is peanuts, but they failed because they did not validate their philosophy from the customers. That is how they failed. So, validation was the need. So, you can pause the video and read them. Let me move forward. Let me see what else we have. So, this is the cycle: build, measure, learn, validation cycle. Nick Swinmer, he went to buy a pair of shoes. He did not find a wonderful pair of shoes. Then he went to another shop, to another shop, to another shop. Then he thought, what this nonsense is? For buying a shoe, I spent the whole day. Rather than doing that, I will have a portal where shoes will be demonstrated and people will buy online. Most of the people said, you must be crazy, because nobody would like to buy shoes online, but he had a plan. So, what he did, rather than buying huge number of shoes and storing them in warehouse, he went with pictures of the shoe, just showed the pictures. Whenever somebody said, I like this pair, so he sent 3 pairs of shoes, and people liked one, sometimes like 2 pairs, and he brought back whichever people did not like. Eventually, he sold the company for $1.2 billion to Amazon. So, the mantra here was, instead of making a huge warehouse full of shoes, he actually made only photographs of shoes, and he had the database as to where these shoes are available. So, without much cost, he could start this business and made $1.2 billion. So, another example of this is another example, DoorDash. I will not go into that. You can read that. Google search, you will read how crazy was the first product. This is the picture of the first portal where they started the business. They did not spend a single paisa to start the business. It was 3 friends. They built this portal, not portal, just kind of a website where they gave the telephone number, and there was success at the beginning. Today, the company is valued more than $10 billion. Another story. Read the story. It is all available in the internet. So, I will not talk about them. Now, just a few 2 slides on growth. See, there are various kinds of customers. There are innovator kind of customer, early adopters, early majority, less majority, and laggard. It is easy to get innovator kinds of customer. They constitute only 2.5%. Now, you have those customers is easily acquired. Then it is slightly more difficult to acquire early adopters, but still they are kind of excited about new products. So, they do not mind about aesthetics, they will buy. But from early adopters going to early majority is the huge journey, difficult journey. And when you start acquiring more people, many business fail, because they do not have the business process management system in place. So many customers means they do not have the expertise to handle so many customers. So, that is why suddenly there is a kind of an avalanche of order, and then they crash. That is why they refer it as crossing the chasm. There is a chasm after you acquire sufficient customers who are early adopters. When you try to acquire early majority kind of customer, your business collapses. Why? Because there is a chasm between these two, and then most of the people, most of the entrepreneurs are not ready. They do not prepare themselves for this huge number of customers, and that is why they fail. So, one needs to know about them. Before you think of growth, you need to do all of that, means you put in place supply chain, you put in place service engineers, you put in place, you contact with your suppliers that we are going to achieve growth. So, you must be able to supply, otherwise you contact several other suppliers that in case we are going to grow or we are going to grow. So, there should be more number of suppliers, etcetera, etcetera. Now, just the last part. See, we have so many aspects of a business. It is very difficult to remember all of that. No, there is a canvas where there are building blocks, there are 9 building blocks. If this is there in front of you, then if you can put it on a wall, it is very easy not to forget and focus on different aspects of the business model canvas. So, here is the canvas, there are 9 building blocks. So, at the core of the canvas is the value proposition. On the right side is the value. You are giving the value to your customer. So, this side is the value, like that gives you the revenue also. So, right side is the value, left side is the infrastructure, the cost, the everything that helps you to create the value. And that is why it is called efficiency, that is called value. So, you have everything at this place, and there is less possibility of forgetting anything. Continuously revisit them again and again, so that you are not forgetting anything. Like what is the value proposition, can you modify that again and again. Then there are so much of write-off you can see, customer segment, define them, refine them. There is no time actually. So, think of customer segmentation, channel through which you make customer aware about your value proposition, and channel through which you send your goods to them, so that they do not have to come to a shop, etcetera. So, there are so many things about channels, you should read them to understand. Then there are customer relationship for creating brands, then create a long term lasting relationship. How you create revenue means through what channel, what is your revenue structure, etcetera, etcetera. This is for your reference, this is not part of my lecture, that is why I am flipping the slides so fast, so that you can pause and know about different aspects of the canvas. And finally, the cost structure, meaning how you can cut cost and make more profit. I promise, here is an example. So, you can see the example and understand what are the parameters that people consider. This is a link of CB Insights that will tell you the different opportunities that is unfolding after COVID. Due to COVID or after COVID, whatever change that our society has seen, there is a listing of that, and maybe 10 pages of write-ups, and these are all taken from there. I have just copy pasted. So, I am not showing you all of that. Just in conclusion, I will just tell you that what John C. Maxwell had said, that failure will always be on your way. Unless you are tenacious, unless you are persistent, success will never come on your path. So, failure is part of the game. Not that you will fail always, but you will fail frequently. Success is the journey, it is not a target and a continuous process. No matter how hard you work, you can never learn so much that you will never fail. You will definitely make mistake. If there is somebody who says that I never made mistake, either that guy never did anything to say to anything tangible, or maybe he is God or something. So, mistakes are likely to happen. These are some of the books that you can refer, very wonderful books. I refer about 50 books while preparing my lecture. These are minimum of the books, nice books, and some general reference. And a great thank you for patient hearing. I have overshot my time. Thank you very much.